Hey YouTube, welcome to another episode of Revenue Wrap. I am your host, Prof Sales, and tonight I have an awesome guest, and I can't wait to go through this show. Hope you guys are ready for it too. I have Mary with me. Mary, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
That's great. Mary is I guess that we could best describe you as a bookseller, but we'll get into that. There's some other things there too.
Yep.
And but here on Revenue Wrap, guys, just so you know, we always invite guests on and have them explain to you like how they're selling, how they're running their business, and give you a chance to ask questions, maybe to explore a new niche, go in a different direction. You know, just basically learn a new way to do business, or maybe just learn more about the way you're already doing business. So let us know, guys, if you can hear us okay in the chat. I think our audio is pretty good. I think our connection's pretty good, but hey, we never know. So let us know if you're having any issues. And Karen says loud and clear from upstairs. She could probably hear me through the house.
That's right.
But anyway. All right, so let's jump into it. And guys, we'll definitely give you chances to ask questions and so on. We'll try to, you know, sprinkle some of those in as we go, but we also want to give Mary a chance to tell kind of like how she got started and so on. And just basically, Mary, you know, tell everybody maybe a little bit about your background, what got you into reselling, and, you know, how you got to the point you're at now.
Okay, well, I started out as a buyer years ago. When I've been in retailing for years and years. And after I had my kids, I raised them, and I opened up a retail store, probably, I think it was in 2009. It was a kind of a fast fashion, junior-driven store, specialty store. And I had that for about 6 years, and we had a really great fan base, but we're in Buffalo, New York, so it's kind of tricky with weather and so on and so forth. And
are you saying the weather is a little rough in Buffalo?
Just a tad.
All right, fair enough.
Need I say more? But no, it was really, really, we had a nice following, but business wasn't great. So it was time to move. And I had a large store. So we had about 4,300 square feet. So, you know, our basically, we had a lot of room for events. I think I talked to you, Jason, about doing, you know, we had a couple of the Real Housewives in, and we had a couple of the project owners in, and there was a lot of fun, and it was really great. But the bottom line was, are we making money? And that was always the bottom line. It was just always a challenge and very stressful. And so when I decided just to go online, that was definitely the way to go. Because
so when you asked the question, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you asked the question, where are you making money? I'm assuming you guys are making some money, but maybe it just wasn't the level you thought it would be at, or really you guys wanted to be at. Right. So you decided to go towards online sales.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a lot of work. You know, I was working all the time. So cost of goods were high. So that's the tricky part. Like I've heard you several times bring up, you know, different denim brands, and we did carry Robins for a while, but that was and for us, and we sold Robins, but we always sold Robins at markdown prices. So
yeah, they're expensive.
But yeah, because we were fast fashion, we were, you know, our cost of goods were lower, but you had to sell volume, and we the draw for that in our particular area. So that's like the thing you have to weigh when you have a specialty store. So yeah, so we started going online, and we had our own website, and we did okay, not great. And so when I decided to pull the plug, and get out of the store and go online and sell. We started actually just selling all of our inventory off on our website and on eBay, on Amazon. I put quite a few styles on Amazon, and it just wasn't really terrific. So we started selling books, quite frankly. Like, it was just like this massive change from clothing to books. And business has been very, very good. We started buying books in volume. And you saw our warehouse set up today. I went our quick phone call this afternoon. And that was quite a transformation for us.
Right.
So yeah, so that was, trying to put systems in place was like our main, key, is to try to like systemize everything with, bookshelves, right, and, inventory systems and that type of thing. So.
Yeah. Now, you said this was with your husband. Was there other people involved with the business, employees or family members as well?
Employees. Yeah. No family members. Yeah, but definitely employees. Yeah. Yeah. I've always had a staff of like 3 or 4 people. So,
Okay.
And now that we started with the warehouse, I have 3 people that work for us. They're all part-time. There's basically 2 listers and then 1 girl who just picks, and she just cleans out, the Gaylords, what is listed, what's not, and what
Right.
we have to,
Now you said, and we'll get to like, that process of how you guys do it, but probably the first question a lot of people have, maybe some people have the question, what's a Gaylord?
Okay.
but also like, how do you get books? Where do you get them from? Where are your sources, not where your sources apply, but what kind of sources apply have you found? Because obviously to scale up a book business or any business, you got to have a source of supply. So can you talk a little bit about that, expand on it?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think a lot of people source, individually and one by one. And that is definitely, one way to do it. I kind of fell into this, this business when I, started looking for books. I found an ad on Craigslist, and it was somebody had was a charity shop had 26 Gaylords for sale, and
how big is a Gaylord?
It's 4 feet by 4 feet, so it fits probably 800 to 1,000 books.
So 26, so 20, over 20,000 books potentially. So that's a lot. That's a lot of books.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And, I was, toying with, oh my gosh, like these are just sitting there. What should we do? And I mentioned it to my husband, and he's like, just buy them. Just get them. Let's just do it. And so it was real hillbilly in the beginning, like to go pick these up. Really very raw. I mean, we've honed the process. You
didn't exactly start small. I was going to say 26.
I know, we just seriously jumped into it, but the way to go for us. It was just jumping in with both feet, and
right.
The problem with doing something like that is there weren't any systems in place. I was seriously using my iPhone.
Were you scanning all these books to see if they were, and this was, now were you primarily looking for Amazon here or eBay at this point?
Yes, I was strictly FBA at this point. I wasn't even merchant. So I really didn't want to do merchant. I wasn't set up for merchant. I was doing this basically out of my house and out of a storage area, the largest one we could find. So it was pretty, it was pretty crazy. So it was either black or white, either we decided to take it or we didn't. We decided to put it in a box or we didn't. So
and these 26,000 books. Now, give us an idea. Like, do you have a feel for how they were broken out? Were they new? Were they used? Were they different genres? What sort of books were they?
This is the thing with Gaylords. You get everything. I mean, you could have an entire box of kids' books. You could have an entire box of junk. It could be an entire box of shredded paper. You just like never know what you're getting. And so you just have to go with it and just dig through it. So, I mean, it could be, that's where your nuggets of gold with your textbooks, there, you could have 20 of them in the box, which pays for the entire load.
Right.
So like, that's the thing. You just never know. But,
okay. So you guys bought, so we're recapping a little because we've got about 70 people watching. So thank you guys for that.
Yeah,
Hit the like button if you're enjoying.
Okay, cool.
And also don't forget too, guys, quick segue here. Mary's information on how to contact her as well as her eBay store are in the description of this video. So be sure to check that out and check out her store. And I think I put your Facebook group there. I don't think I put your Instagram there because I got it kind of late, the message, but we'll get that in there. And so anyway, to recap Mary's story, she decides to sell books and buys 26,000 of them. Or
change the title of that. Exactly.
I don't know anything about selling books and I bought 26,000 of them. See, and I don't feel so bad now since I bought 3,000 of them last year and I didn't know anything about selling them. And after I was done, I realized how little I really knew. Oh my gosh, but all right, so you guys, you know, go big or go home. I can appreciate that. So you buy all these books and you guys, now you have a warehouse now. Like, how big is your warehouse and what's that set up? But what did you have at the time?
So at the time we just had, I had closed my store and I you know, was just going to do a storage unit and, you know, do it from home and ship from home. And it was all going to be FBA. Okay. So I realized very quickly with our weather that was not going to cut it because we couldn't cut through all of those books in such a short period of time before the weather turned. So we found a warehouse and it was actually set up quite nicely because it had a garage door so we could actually bring books in, and we set up bookshelves. And yeah, it was really quite nice. It was probably about 1,600 square feet. And
good size.
Yeah, it was a decent size. And we decided to take over the other half of the warehouse, which would double it. So now we have 3,200 square feet. The warehouse you saw this afternoon was actually 3,200 square feet. And so it really does fit. I think right now we are housing probably about 4,000 merchant fulfilled, and we can fit, I think we have about 15 Gaylords in there now. So yeah, so that's, you know, that's kind of our capacity. And then we have just under 1,500 eBay listings in there. So so that's, you know, that could definitely double with our projections of where we want to put more shelves. And our bundling plan for going ahead for eBay.
Now, so how much? Because someone asked, you know, I think it was Tanya, is in the.
Oh, hi Tanya.
Is in the list, and she asked about how much does a Gaylord of books cost? I mean, is there like a standardized cost? Does it really just depend?
So yeah, so I mean, it does depend, depending on the deal you make. We happen to get these for 10 cents a pound. So that is roughly about, I think a load costs us about $850, anywhere between 780 and 850. So it's about, you know, under 100. You know, a box.
Under $100 for as many as maybe 1,000 books.
Yeah, definitely.
So 10 cents a book. I mean, that's pretty cheap, I would think. Yeah. But to your point, we talked about this in the pre-show. Not every book is going to be sellable, shall we say?
I know. And the other tricky part is that some of these boxes don't just have books in them. Last load, we had a box that was covered, at the top of it was covered in books, and the bottom was housewares and electronics, which was a huge score for us because there were gaming systems and all sorts of great stuff on the bottom of the box. I know. That's what I was saying. It was like, yes.
Mystery Gaylord. It's like you go to the Goodwill and there's a big Mystery Gaylord taped up and like take the whole box for $50.
We will take 10 Mystery Gaylords any day of the week. So
that's pretty interesting. I had no idea that that would happen.
yeah.
All right, so I think we talked about a couple of these. So right now, somebody asked about the size of your inventory right now. So between eBay and Amazon, you have approximately how many?
Yeah, Amazon, we have 3,000 books.
And they're not all
quite
FBA
a bit.
though, right?
FBA. Yeah, we pulled
they're all FBA. Okay.
3,000 FBA and about 4,000 merchant.
Okay.
The 3,000 FBA, it was 5,000 before the fees went up. So when the long-term fees kicked in, the long-term storage fees kicked in, and then the fee structure went up in March, that was a game changer for a lot of booksellers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
we really had to reassess what we were doing. And luckily, we have an inventory system in place with NitoScan as the inventory system we use. And that's essential for the quantity that we sell. We set rules
Right.
with them as to what the parameters are, the highest and lowest, and the ceiling and the floor and all that other stuff. So we've got a whole system set up with them.
So just to recap, and I'm not an expert on it, but let me make sure I understand it correctly. NitoScan is a piece of software that allows you to scan a book and put in parameters and decide if you want to keep it, to sell it, or not.
Correct. It's like, it's kind of like a red or green. It goes or it doesn't, so it's very easy. It's very fast. It's just, you literally use a scanner. So that's our system when we actually get a shipment in, which we will get like 10 boxes in at a time. We basically rent a 26-foot box truck, and we bring these in and then just pile through them. It probably takes us about like one box. It'll take us probably about four hours to go through, maybe 3 hours to go through. And then you really like, you get everything, everything that has a barcode gets scanned, so.
Now, what percentage of books do you think you get that are sellable out of a Gaylord?
20%, 20% max.
So 80%. And what do you do with the other 80?
80%, 80%, some of them are bundled. Some of them are eBayed as maybe a decorator lot,
Nice.
Like they look pretty, so they go over here, they might be coffee table books and they go over there. So it's like we have all sorts of sections in our warehouse.
Right.
It's bizarre stuff. So.
And you guys do something really smart that I saw in the video you sent me. You bundle books together by color.
Right.
Now, can you explain what that means exactly?
Right. So anything that is a non-UPC book, and it doesn't have a barcode, it doesn't have an ISBN, it's like a lookup, basically. And it might be an antique book. I'm not an antique person as far as like knowing anything. I'd have to like sit there and investigate it. We don't have time for that. And all this is about trying to save time.
Right.
So we just like, that looks really pretty. Let's put it together there. That goes with the red pile. That goes with the green pile. Occasionally we'll stop and look at it and say, oh, this is from 1908. Is this really worth any money? It just takes time. So you really have to, this big system is to like trying to manage time. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of questions in here, and I don't know if you have the chat up or not, Mary, but there's tons of questions coming.
Okay, good.
And that's fine if you don't. Let's see. Tanya asked if there's a price point you try to stay at, and will you sell the infamous penny books on Amazon, the 1 penny plus $3.99 shipping?
Okay, those are no longer. That's part of the new fee structure.
Really?
In March 1st, all the fees went up. So you can't find penny books on eBay or on Amazon anymore. If you do find them, that seller is losing money. They basically are charging at least $6. Amazon is charging at least $6 to sell the book. Like they take $6.
Real? Okay, so wait, let me back up here. So you're saying that if you send a book in now to Amazon FBA,
Right.
they're storing it, it's going to end up costing you $6 to say, right. I know there's storage fees every 30 days, but say it's only sets for 30 days. So, but it's still going to cost you $6.
Right. Right. So
selling a $4 book,
no,
you're at a loss.
I'm at a loss already. I couldn't even take my inventory and bottom it out and say, I just want to like get rid of these because I'm not going to make any money on them. I couldn't even do that. Like I had to either pull them back, destroy them, or I had to like pull them back and try to resell them another way when they went through that whole fee, when all the fees went up. Right. So, and everybody went through the same thing. I mean, we're all like trying to deal with this, and it is going to be fine in about another couple weeks or another month. But it's been, it's been an adjustment. It's been really difficult, sure. But yeah, so it's going to be fine. It's just going to take a little time. So yeah, so you cannot sell a book for under $6 without taking a loss anymore.
We're getting a little deep in the metrics here, but since that's happened, and since some of these sellers are going to have to back off from these penny books, have you noticed a change in the sales velocity of books on Amazon? Has there been any difference since these fees have kicked in? And if so, what?
Yeah, I mean, massive difference.
Really?
Like
okay.
A massive difference. My business from a year ago has changed tremendously. eBay, because we need to change with the whole mood of what's going on and all the different fee structures that are going up. We've got to roll with it, and either you do or you don't. Like you're going to drown if you don't. So so yeah, everybody's prices are going up. Our prices went up. We do not sell a book now for under $9. If we do, we're not making a lot of money on it. But so we're really concentrating on higher price books, and it's really, really more of a textbook driven business for FBA. Now, merchant is different. Merchant, we still can make money on sending it ourselves. And we've also taken that bread and butter book that we used to, sell for $6, and now we're selling it on eBay through Nitoscan. So
all right, and we're going to get to that, but I wanted to answer a question somebody had about Nitoscan.
Yep.
And somebody else I think asked the same question in a different way.
Okay.
So with Nitoscan, for those you may be coming in late, Nitoscan is a piece of software that allows you to scan a book and set in parameters for whether you will keep it and sell it or reject it because of whatever your parameters were. So it allows you to go very quickly.
Right.
Are you able to do that on multiple platforms at the same time? Can it look up Amazon and eBay prices, let's say, at the same time, or just one?
No, it's actually like multifaceted, multi-platform. So we can use Nitoscan for Libris, half.com, eBay, multiple. Right now, we're only set up on Nitoscan for Amazon and eBay.
Okay, but I think the question might have been though, and a couple of people asked it. Are you able to scan and it'll look up prices for 2 or more platforms at the same time? Like it might not be profitable on Amazon, but maybe on eBay it is, given your parameters. Or is it just one platform at a time and then you have to change it?
Well, so the platform that I'm using, I don't really know if I understand this question. So I know what you're saying. I mean, it's not a scanning system. It's actually something that like we're signed up with this company, and then we set up a tree of rules with them as to what we want, what our parameters are. So, we're going to sell on Amazon for like anything under 1 million, that's ranked under 1 million. We'll go through for FBA. anything that's
Okay.
between 1.5 million and a million will go through for merchant, and then anything that is like 2 million to 1.5 million ranking will go to eBay, so it's like,
Gotcha.
it's kind of like this whole tree system that they have set up. And you can set it up however you want. I mean, I'm
Right.
not saying that like that's ours, but it's like, the staff there, they're very good. The thing I like about Nitoscan is it does change with the season. So during textbook season, it's also a repricer. So all the prices go up during textbook season. It
Right.
lowers the prices when you're not in textbook season, or if one book is trending, the prices will go up. So it's kind of like it's very stock market-y,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that's great because as
Yeah.
you and I were talking before the show,
yeah,
taking the time to go in by hand and reprice hundreds or even thousands of items is not time efficient.
yeah, and it's also like twice a day. So it's like it goes in,
Right.
7 o'clock in the morning, 7 at night. So it's it's kind of helpful that way for for a
Yeah.
seller.
Yeah, that's great. So guys, check out Nitoscan. I don't think Mary's a paid spokesperson, but
I'm not, but I do, I do believe like no matter what, you need to have some kind of system. Like it does really
Right.
help. Like when I first, I ventured into this, we didn't have a system in place. And, I was kind of, flirting with talking to different people like, okay, like what is your system about? What is yours? And the owner of this particular system, Nitoscan, and he's like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? You don't have anything in place. Like, you're making so much more. And he was right.
Yeah.
It's very
Now could you use Nitoscan to go, like, let's say, because kind of the tradition, I'm so small-minded when it comes to books. Like, I'm not even thinking about buying Gaylords because I bought 3,000 books and loaded down a Dodge Caravan and an SUV to the point they were dragging on the ground. And I thought, ugh, never again am I going to bring 3,000 books. But so I'm a kind of that old school, all right, well, maybe I'll walk into a thrift store and scan a few books. So can you use Nitoscan to do that? Does it have like, like a fob capability, or you can do something like, out in the field, or is it better just for like a, bulk application like you guys are using?
I think personally, I think it's better for bulk, but I do know that they do sell to they do sell their system to smaller sellers that do onesies. So, and quite frankly, I mean, that's like one part of our business. The other part is all about like eBay, and that is bundles, and they do not do bundles. So it's like they don't have anything to do with our bundle business. So
okay, and we're going to get to that in just a second. But before we do, guys, we're right at like 100 viewers. So thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. Mary's got a cool story. She reached out to me, I guess probably about a week or so ago. You reached out to me and said, hey, if you ever want to hear about our business, and I check out her channel and videos. But she's got some links in the description of this video to her Facebook page, as well as her, not Instagram, as well as her store. Her actual eBay store is in there. Because that's one of the questions we always get when you're on YouTube is, hey, what's your store? Hey, what's your store? Hey, what's your store? So it's there if you want to go check it out and go see how she's kind of set it up. And it's selling books, not just on Amazon, but also on eBay. So proof that it can be done even there. And we'll get to that. Somebody else asked about mildew and bugs in these Gaylords. Any issues with pests or rodents or anything like that?
Thank God. I wouldn't have a staff if I had that. I only have girls working for me. So that would have been a huge problem. No, thank
funny.
God. There's none of that. I think by the time they get to, so it's like
all right, so let's go back to this process for a moment. So you buy 26,000 books. Well, let's not take your first experience. Let's just say you buy 10 Gaylords. You buy a small shipment of 10,000 books. So those come in the back door. You've got a warehouse there. Walk us through, like, what's the process for how you would process those Gaylords of books, like from start to finish, to how you decide if they're going to get listed, to what you do with the ones that aren't? Do you store them for a while? Do you take them somewhere? Can you give us some insight into that?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. So basically we have us, our warehouse is set up where we have a bank of computers. So the girls bring over everything to our table that need to be scanned out of the box we're working on. And then everything needs, whatever has a UPC gets scanned no matter what. And so, you know, they'll go through it. If it's garbage, if it looks ratty, it gets thrown out. If it's unsellable, if it's ripped, it's not even a contender. So it goes over to the table. If it doesn't get scanned, then it gets recycled. So it's kind of just, you know, it's one or the other, or if it's kids, then it gets put into, you know, our kids pile, which, you know, from the kids pile, then it goes into a bundle. So it just like, there's different, there's all different facets of that system. So it just depends. You know, it depends on what season it is. It depends on, you know, a lot of different things. And then there's also like a whole area of lookups and eBay lookups. And that eBay lookup table just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Actually, it's multiple tables. Just one.
It's multiple tables.
It is. But
now, with the eBay books, someone asked us earlier, do you take photos of the books?
no, yes, we do. Yep. For eBay. Yes, we do. Yep. We take three photos. Mm-hmm.
Front, back, and spine?
It's usually, it depends. Like if it's a bundle, we'll take the big, you know, like, you know, a picture of like 20 books and then individuals, like, you know, probably about 4 or 5 individuals, and then just keep moving on. Yeah.
Okay.
They all go into a Dropbox and then they get loaded.
So let's say you have a book that comes in and it gets gone through, it's in decent, you've done your quality control, you've done your lookup, it's going to sell for a decent amount. You're going to send it to, maybe you're going to send it to FBA, maybe you're going to keep it there for FBM, for merchant fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
How long does that process take? Do you have a feel for, like, or maybe you have a number, like how long does it take for a book to go from, you know, the box, the back door, to listed?
It could be as quick as days, or it could.
As how long? I think we missed that.
Yeah, it could be as quick as 2 days, or it could be 2 weeks. It depends on how quickly we get to that box. Because
no, I meant once you've got the book in.
Okay.
Well, wait. Well, maybe I don't mean that. So are you saying that, do you take books and you take some and they go through quality control and
Right.
they sit and then they go through another step at another time frame?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Okay.
We're trying to like not touch them. Like we're trying to only touch them like 3 times, you know, because it's like the more you
Okay.
touch them, the more time you waste. So it's
Right.
like, the bottom line is to get them out of the Gaylord to the scanner and then into the FBA box. But if it's not FBA, like if it doesn't qualify for FBA, then it will go to merchant. And then if it doesn't qualify for merchant, then it will go to like eBay singles, which is like, you know, that kind of lower tier that we just like created. And then if it doesn't qualify for that, then it goes to FBA bundles. So
Okay.
it is a pretty quick process. We're getting really, really fast with this. Like it just within seconds, it doesn't go here, it goes there, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, it's not like we've got, you know, piles of like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Like it's just, we pretty much know, like it's either going to be like worked on, like it's going to go into a bundle, it's going to go into FBA, or it has to be listed for merchant. So yeah.
Okay, so let me, and I think you and I we were on 2 different pages there for a moment. That's why I backtracked on the question.
Okay.
Because what I was trying to find out was, because I'm about efficiency too, and I'm always looking for ways to squeeze out, you know, a few seconds here, a few seconds there.
Yeah.
So suppose you have a hypothetical 1,000 books, and you're going to process those from start to finish right away. Like that's all you got to do. There's no waiting to
Right.
come back to them at a later time.
Right.
How long do you think you guys, with your team there in place and your systems in place, how long do you think you could get How long would it take to get that 1,000 books from start to finish, from either listed to donated or what have
That'll
you?
be a night. Yeah, that'll be a 4-hour shift.
Oh, well, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. So that's 250 books an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
fast.
that's a
I think.
4-hour shift. Yeah, that's, you pretty much know, because a lot of it is garbage. I've got to be quite honest with you. A lot of it is like not sellable. It might just be old. It might be ripped. It might be, I mean, this is like a big box of garbage, you know? So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
Yeah,
you
no,
have your
I understand.
winners. Don't get me wrong. You like, definitely there are like winners, but there's also many that are just not. So that's why you have to
Sure.
like, that's why you try to monetize each box the best you can. And that's the reason why we
Right.
got into like this bundling business so heavily, because they're like, they just turn so quickly. Or you might have a box of Bibles. I mean, you know, like something as esoteric as that, you like, you're not going to throw those out. You know, we actually, that's why I was laughing today. You know, when we were trying to like make our phone call, I'm thinking, you were outsourcing and I'm listing Bibles. Like,
Yeah.
it's just crazy, but they sell very quickly. So,
Right. So let's get into this bundle idea. And I noticed several people in the chat are asking about it. So
okay.
can you explain what a bundle is, at least in
Sure.
your approach? You know, what it consists of, what you're looking for pricing. Also, can you talk about shipping? Because that's something I'm interested with because
Sure.
books are heavy. So maybe if you can talk about those topics, maybe the start to finish of a bundle.
Sure. So, so especially with kids books or even like adult books, when you have a certain author that's trending, Stephen King, even some of the mass people that we used to just toss away and not think that they were worth anything, maybe we would recycle them. People are buying these. You know, they're buying Patterson, they're buying like Connolly, they're buying all these, but they might not want tons of them. They might want 6s of them. Rather than throw them out, put them together. You know, if you find them at a garage sale or you find them wherever, put them together. You're going to be able to sell those. People are looking for these. They're looking for the romance novels. We used to toss the romance novels. I mean, I can't even tell you how many we would just recycle. But I don't, for some reason, we started, you know, we thought we're going to give these a try, because I think we would hit a pocket of them and we would find maybe 30 of them. We'd put them together and then sell them for $40, and they would sell like overnight. And then the kids' books, that's kind of easy. It's you know, Harry Potter's or Junie B. Jones or a Magic Tree House, Nancy Drew. I mean, they literally sell overnight. Those different niches sell immediately. Clifford, I mean, all these little Dr. Seuss. It just, you know, name your favorites from your childhood or what your kids used to read. These are all the books that they're still super popular.
So, and it makes sense that if somebody, especially with the kids, but also if you like an author, you like a series, you don't want to go pay retail for them.
Right.
You know, because a used book, as long as it's in decent shape, it's just as good as a new book. I mean, it reads the same. It's not like the words change.
Right.
So you've got this group of books. You've got, I don't know, 10 Hardy Boys or 20 Nancy Drews or whatever it is, and you're going to sell it for $30, $40, which when you would have just given it away, donated it back, who knows? All right, so how do you ship it and and not lose your shirt on it, because
it's medium
books
mail.
get kind of heavy.
It's medium mail.
Okay.
So USPS medium mail is super cheap. The only tricky part about medium mail is that if anything happens to it, there's no insurance. So we've had this happen over the last, you know, couple months where we've shipped out, like our latest niche, our baby board books. We have like literally a Gaylord, which is probably 1,000 books of just baby board books. We sell them so quickly, I can't even tell you. Like it's
what is baby book? I have no idea what that is.
The little board books that the babies, you know, that you read to your baby. They're the hard ones. The hard ones.
Okay.
You were a baby at one point.
I don't remember it. Yeah, no, I get it. It's like when you
So,
said
but
it and then you
yeah,
describe it, I'm like, okay, I got it.
I know. So that's it. So, so yeah, so I mean, that was just like a random niche that like we started
Hmm.
listing them and they would sell instantly. We've been selling, we probably sell anywhere from 3 to 6 a day. So it's kind of crazy, these bundles. I don't even know where I was going with that. So anyway, so
It's
yeah,
all right.
so okay, so we were talking about we just put these in a box or a padded envelope and send them off, and it's USPS media mail. So
Okay.
that's pretty cheap. The only thing is you have to make sure that they are packaged tightly and that they don't break open, and because they're not protected by insurance.
How is there a weight limit on media mail? I can't remember. It's been a
I
while.
don't know. I think it's like 40 pounds, but I'm not positive.
Oh,
Don't hold me to that.
that's pretty heavy.
It is pretty heavy. I know we had a big box of 50 in the cart, so it's like I know that we can't do 50. I'm not sure what it is though.
Yeah, yeah, and media mail, and I do know media mail too. The only, like you said, there's no insurance, and it does usually take longer
It
to get
does.
to the
Yeah.
person, but
Yeah.
you're not dealing with something where there's a lot of immediacy, like, oh, I've got to have this book today. I mean,
Right.
that's not usually in this case. So,
Right.
okay,
And
well, cool.
sometimes we do it free, with our free shipping.
Oh yeah.
So like that always helps if you offer free shipping and then you just build it into the price.
Hmm. Right. Right.
People, I tend to, they just buy into it and it's like, all right, so that just helps too.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
So bundles of books, and you're primarily doing these bundles with things that you're not going to sell, obviously, as one-offs because there's just not enough
Right.
profit in them.
Right. And that's the thing. We have had recently we have had like stacks and stacks of chapter books for kids, Scholastic in particular. So our most recent thing that we found is bundling Scholastic books in bundles of like 30 to 50 Scholastic books, which again, you're not going to sell it. It's not really worth anything on its own. And,
Right.
we can get probably, $30 to $50 for a bundle. So that helps. Just move
Yeah, that's
out.
Well, now let me ask you this part because you're selling these on eBay. Let's
Yeah.
go back to the photos for a moment. I'm assuming, well, you can't take 30 photos because you don't have that
Right.
many. So how are you handling the photo part? Are you just putting several
So we
together?
do a mass photo or like of one of the whole bundle. And then we just
Okay.
do individuals of like tens. So you probably have about 6 of them.
Okay.
And then you list them as boys or girls. It's like you're not getting to, it's not individual, like boys or girls, whatever. Yeah.
That makes sense
Yeah.
because you don't know really who's going to want them.
Right.
One other question on those. This seems like a dumb question, but that's never stopped me before. So you've got 20 books that you're going to bundle together. How do you store those in your inventory? Like, obviously you're going to keep them together somewhere, but where do you put them on? Do you put them on the shelf together?
Yeah, we got them on a shelf, and we usually bag them. We usually bag them and seal them, or we put them in a box. Yeah.
Okay, and that makes sense because you don't want them to get separated, obviously, because then.
Yeah, and then each listing on our shelves has an actual shelf identification. Like it'll be like aisle 1, bay 2, shelf 5. So it's all very specific. So it's like the only thing the person who's picking it will have to look for is like on shelf 5, which is big, but it's not like outrageous. They can usually find it.
Yeah. And you've got some just quick hit videos on your YouTube channel that show kind of what the warehouse is set up like and so on. So it was pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sitting here thinking about, can I bundle jeans?
Yeah, you can by size. You could by size, and I feel like that girl like has more of a chance of like fitting into 1 of 5.
Yeah, the problem is it's like you do kind of have to take photos of all of them unless they're all the same brand and the exact same wash. And even then there's differences between them that sometimes people will go, I didn't know that was like that.
Right.
You know, especially distressed items. Clothing, but clothing, I know some people do, you know, they bundle, you know, the same size shirt. Hey, here's 3 large Ralph Lauren polos.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I think if you bought them cheap enough and you just wanted to move them, that would be good for like your like death pile.
No death pile. I have no death. No, I don't. I don't have a death pile right now. We have no death pile. But
nice.
And all you watching out there, don't have a death pile. It's just stop buying right now and list what you got, or get rid of it or donate it. Guys, 120 people watching, so thanks for that. I know you guys are loving the content, and please keep smashing the like button. I do appreciate it. Lets me know I'm doing a good job on YouTube, and most of all, lets Mary know that you're appreciating her content. There's links to Mary's Facebook page. As it's a page or a group, I can't remember.
Well, it's actually a group. We just started it just about a week ago. So yeah, it's pretty new. So, and we've had some sales on it, so I'm really happy about it. I think it's going to be really fun. We've been doing some dark posts, Facebook dark posts, and trying to find moms and homeschoolers and people that have kids that are out there that are, you know, just looking for inexpensive books and, you know, another outlet, you know, just trying to move the bundles, you know, so that'll be good. Yep.
Yeah. And there's also a link in there to Mary's eBay store. So between that and the Facebook group, guys, you can kind of go and see like how she's doing it, what it looks like, and so on. And even get in contact with her if you want. Somebody asked about your YouTube channel. Do you want to share that? I think it was just under your name, right?
Yes, it's just under my name. It's pretty sad right now. Please don't go look.
So Mary's saying her YouTube channel might not be ready for prime time.
It's not. I need an editor.
So, you know, here's a tip though. Turn your phone like this, and it will work much better.
I knew you were going to say that. Exactly.
You and Karen.
Yes, no. I know Karen's so much better than
landscape,
I am.
Landscape,
exactly.
come on.
I'm trying.
Anyway.
It's funny.
But I can hear her laughing now because it's on like a 30-second delay. So, or whatever the time frame is. So she's laughing about it. She'll give me grief later. All right. So I had some other questions here too. All right. So you've created this book selling business, and you know you've incorporated a lot of things that we've talked about that make a lot of sense. You're buying in bulk. You're using a warehouse space, not just your home. You're using the best of Amazon and eBay. You're bundling items that are maybe you wouldn't sell on your own, or you wouldn't sell just singles and you sell together. And you've streamlined processes with software and organization, which all makes complete sense. So now I got to ask you though, are you going to scale this business even larger? And if so, to what? Or have you given thought to that?
Yeah, I mean, we have definitely. And I think that's one thing that I've heard Greg Murphy mention a few times, like no matter what warehouse you move into, it's not going to be big enough. And I can totally understand that. And I think that we're going to revisit that by the end of the year, and we'll see this is at the point. So, you know, just one step at a time right now. But because the more you list, the more you sell. And that's what I'm finding, you know, like we have like 2 girls listing now on top of myself. And we probably list anywhere from 50 to 100 items a day. So, you know, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, and, you know, again, the more you list, the more you sell. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
So you guys are pushing out, if my math is, I mean,
and it's
a
not
couple thousand listings a month, or
it's
no?
Not every day though. You know, I mean, they like, you know, they're working probably about maybe 4 days a week. Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this, Mary? I don't remember if we said that or not.
I've been doing this for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
Because
so it's still pretty new, really.
It is.
You're way ahead of like the game, I think.
Yeah, it's fairly new. Yeah, but it's like we kind of jumped into it. Again, 26,000
Yeah.
books. Like
It's 26,000 books. I mean, no big deal. It's not like you bought a lot.
that's not a lot.
Oh.
I know. It's like looking back on it, it's kind of crazy. So, so going.
If somebody offered me 26,000 jeans, I would just be like, no. But yes.
But no.
So,
but maybe yes.
But no. It's like, what am I thinking?
Let me think about it.
It's like I just wouldn't have to buy jeans for ever.
I know. Well, you think about that, because I used to go to the clothing shows, and that's the thing. It's like the cost of goods with buying something in bulk like this is so amazingly low.
Right.
Compared to where I was buying. I would buy a collection from all these different vendors, and my cost of goods were so high, and then I had rent and payroll and everything on top of that. It's just like, oh my gosh, like the business we're in now is so amazing. It's really good.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And that's, it's amazing too, when you get this business right, and it just sort of, you can see like a future that's, bigger and brighter, and, there's not really a limit. Like to Greg's case, point, he has a pretty massive warehouse up there in Ohio, and he's saying that it's still not enough, Do you, somebody, man, I had a question here and I just lost it. If I can find it again. Somebody had asked one, I totally had just glossed over it, but I'll think of it here in a moment.
Okay.
But somebody asked about the bundling, and they said, was there other bundles you do? You said you need to buy a color, but you also, you kind of answered that with author, type of book, if it was scholastic for kids.
Right. And then within the kids market, there's probably thousands of different little niches, so it's like Flat Stanley or, Junie B. Jones or whatever it could. Just there's a million different like little things that you could just put together that moms are looking for. So, so that's pretty amazing right there.
Yeah,
so.
That is, and it is crazy how many niches there are within a niche.
Yeah,
even though books is a pretty big niche, so to speak.
Right.
Guys, if you guys have future questions or more questions, we have about 7 or 8 minutes left here, and we'll be glad to answer them. Type the word question or 2 or 3 question marks in front of your question, and we'll see if Mary can take a swing at it. So, what's your future on Amazon now? I mean, are you? It sounds like you've really moved away from the FBA model in some ways.
Yeah, in some ways, but we're definitely going to be doing toys for the holidays. This past year, I really got out of toys for fourth quarter because I was so heavily into books, and I really suffered in December. Quite frankly, books really pick up at the end of December. Beginning of January for that January textbook season, but December for toys is gold. And 2 years ago I made bank on it, and then I didn't get into it this past year. So this year we're definitely going to be getting back into that heavily. So we'll be going to ASD in I think it's in August. And I haven't been actually, so I'm gonna try to go to that show. So it should be good.
I've had a friend who just went to the
last
spring
one
show,
in March
or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay, good.
Yeah, so he's not really a wholesaler kind of guy or something, but he did learn a lot.
Yeah.
So it kind of sent him off in other directions. So definitely something to go check out. Yeah, that's interesting. But I mean, I guess with Amazon, I'm just reading so many negative things about them lately.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what you're in, what niche you're in. My husband has a business with, they manufacture products in China, and their Amazon business is excellent. So I think it just depends, if you're a reseller, like it just is tricky, just depends on where you're at. So.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think I remember my question from earlier. You mentioned you're in upstate,
Mhm.
like the Buffalo area and so
Yes.
on.
Yep.
Where do you find, I mean, I know you mentioned where you found your initial source of books, but
Right.
are you, without giving away like specific sources, what would you say to somebody who wants to just jump all in head first or feet first, however
Yeah.
you want to look at it, like you did? I mean, how would they scale that on such a large scale right off the bat? I mean, what kind of sources would they be looking for? Where would they go? Who would they
Yeah,
talk
I mean,
to?
I think you need to make some phone calls and you need to be very persistent because the quantity of in particular books is definitely out there in every city. I mean, and it's abundant. I mean, it is literally abundant, and you need to be persistent with your particular thrift stores in your area. Call them. I mean, on top of like the 10 Gaylords that we would pick up from our resource, they are sending 40 more Gaylords out of the state to Connecticut
Wow.
to a big bookseller. So it's like,
And
and they're,
that was just because you guys couldn't handle
yeah,
anymore. Is that because you couldn't
we
handle
couldn't even
anymore?
take
Or
them, and that was
okay,
killing me. Like,
right.
yeah, I mean, it's like, what? Like, because you look at this, it's like, oh my gosh, but we can't, we couldn't physically handle it. So it's like, all right, so we can do what we can do, and then you just move on.
Yeah.
But if they're out there, I mean, it's never going to stop. We could have,
Hmm.
5 different people in this same city doing the same thing, and it really wouldn't matter.
Yeah. I mean,
You wouldn't
isn't
feel
books
it.
still like, I don't know if it still is, but I know for a while, books was the biggest category on Amazon in
Yeah.
terms of number of items.
Yeah. I don't know anymore. I don't really think they want to be in the business anymore.
Yeah. Well,
No, I don't think they want to. I don't think they want to house the books anymore. So I don't know.
but your model though, like it's taken me like the whole hour to kind of wrap my head around all of it because I wanted to hear like, you flesh out all the parts of it. But your model seems to be,
Yes.
um, there's going to be certain FBA plays still. We get that maybe, but there's going to be a lot of fulfilled by merchant,
Yeah.
and there's going to be some eBay onlys, and then some bundling of some of the, shall we say, lower product items. And then of course at the end you still have some that you just cannot do anything with.
Right. Right.
They're just and what are we? I can't remember. Somebody asked about what you were doing with those again. I think you covered it, but maybe you might want to mention it again.
So the books that we can't get rid of, the books that we can't sell for FBA or merchant,
Right.
the paperbacks we recycle. We take probably about, I would say probably about 4 or 5 Gaylords of books to the recycler every time that we go to do a pickup. So we get money back from them. It's nominal, but we get money back from them to
Right.
drop those off. And then we redonate or try to get rid of the hardcover as much as we can. The hardcover are tricky because the recyclers, paperback recyclers or paper recyclers do not want to touch those because of the glue in the bindings. They can't deal with that. So so that's why we started selling the decorator lots. It's like, take the dust covers off, let's look at them. And we do sell a lot of those. I mean, it's amazing.
Do you guys sell anything locally, or do you have any desire to have like a used bookstore or maybe
No, I
just
do
a
not.
book day?
No retail. I'm not doing retail anymore.
Don't want to deal with it.
I do not want to deal with it. No.
Yeah.
No.
I know Greg, I think, does something like that up there.
Yeah.
He has like a day when people come in the warehouse. I mean, it's not like he opens up a whole nother thing. It's like, come in here.
Right. Yeah, they actually have
In this
a
section.
nice store. They've got a nice store set up in Dayton, I think it is. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. And that is a different business. Another
Sure.
Outlet that we do occasionally would be for consignment sales. We bundle things and we send them to these big people that have consignment sales for kids, and they rent out a whole like soccer field, and they just like bring all sorts of baby things in there and clothes and And we have brought bundles to those sales. So that's, that's another source of income. So that's nice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we are right at the top of the hour pretty much. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who came out. I don't know, it was like 130 people at one point, 118 now. Leave us a comment or question after this. I'm sure Mary will be able to check back on this video, because there will be some questions probably, Mary, that somebody watching, tomorrow or whatever will ask. And, hit the like button before you leave too, guys, and check out Mary's Facebook group as well, where she has some of her items for sale, as well as her eBay store, both listed in the link here. I'll try to add her Instagram after this, since you gave it to me, so you can connect with her on IG. Seems like everybody's doing Instagram today or now. Exactly. It's like I've even started doing it. That's when it's really jumped the shark. But props on it. But thank you guys for coming out tonight. Really appreciate it. A lot of great content here. I mean, if you wanted to sell books on Amazon or FBA or eBay in any shape or form, please go back and check out this video from start to finish, because Mary just said,
do it.
You can do it, Mary says. She bought 20-some thousand right off the bat. You can handle the 5 you bought from Goodwill today, so there's no excuse. All right. Mary, if you'll stick around for just a second, but that's going to do it for tonight, guys. I appreciate it. Stay tuned. We'll have another episode of Revenue Wrap before you know it, and I'll see you all real soon.